So, Lego Ninjago is the newest of the Lego movies. It started, of course, with the Lego movie and then moved on to the Lego Batman movie. And now we're here. And so, the Lego Ninjago movie is based off a TV show called Ninjago that airs on Cartoon Network, but I have no idea anything about that. I've just seen some ads here or there, so I don't know how close it is to the movie in terms of plot or how many characters are there. But the plot of the movie is there's a city called Ninjago that is constantly being attacked by the evil Gormadon, who's a overlord extraordinaire who's just always just attacking the city because he wants to, essentially. But he's always defeated by this group of 5 ninjas, led by Lloyd Gormadon, who's the son of the Gormadon that's constantly attacking the town. And Lloyd is an outcast because, of course, no one knows he's one of these ninjas that constantly saves the town. So when he's just himself, no one wants to talk to him. No one wants to be his friend. Uh, and he also never had a father in his life because Gormadon, that attacks the city, abandoned him from an early age. And so the movie is about the group of ninjas and Lloyd specifically trying to stop Gormadon from attacking the town and also trying to repair the relationship that Lloyd has with his father. So I really enjoyed the first 2 Lego movies, and they got great reviews. So I know a lot of people did. That's not anything special, but they built up their reputation of being able to bring this incredible amount of comedy and wit and just having references and great one-liners, almost every other line. And Batman had just, references all the time. And there was a little thing in the back of the screen here or a little thing in the corner down here. But they balanced that out with uh, really touching moments and really emotional moments that kind of brought you in like, whoa. I wasn't expecting that from anything with Lego in the title. And so they try and take that same approach here. But it just didn't work as well for me as it did in those other 2. Batman, I'm much more familiar with that. And for the Lego movie, you didn't have to be familiar with anything. And maybe there was a lot of jokes or references here that I didn't get because I don't know the show. But there was a lot of jokes that were clearly just meant to be just one-liners or jabs or reactions to something that happened. But it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, I bet that they're going to say this here. And then they said it. Oh, man, I bet they're going to say this right here. And then they said it. It's like, man, I wonder if this will happen. And then it'll happen. And, sometimes in movies, they'll be like, oh, my gosh, if they did this right here, that would be awesome. And then they do it. And you're like, whoa, that's just what I wanted to happen. But this was not one of those times. This is one of those, if they do this here, that would just be really boring. And then they kept doing it and they kept doing it. And that's what happened with the jokes over and over again. There were still some funny parts, and there was definitely a lot of times where I was chuckling in my seat, but a lot of the humor was hit and miss. But the problem was they had so much of it that they never really let you settle in on those emotional moments that they tried to have in there. And there was a lot of moments with the relationship between Gormadon and Lloyd that they tried to have, but it just never really felt real to me because they would kind of get to the point where you're like, oh, maybe something's really happening here, but right before it was about to get serious, someone would make some joke, but it wasn't all bad. As I said, there were some funny jokes, and the Lego style still really appealed to me. But you know, outside of that, I really just thought this was kind of a basic kids movie. It got some good laughs, but it never really went into that deeper part that the last 2 movies had gone to, and that's something that I expect out of a good movie and out of a kids movie as well, because obviously I'm not the target audience for this, but there are plenty of kids movies that I enjoy because they do something more than is what I expected of them. And this movie, I don't think it really does as much as the last two movies did. And also one thing I will add, this it will be a spoiler if you haven't watched the original Lego movie, so tune out if you haven't. But if you have, we know at the end of that one, it's revealed that this is just the basement of Will Ferrell's character's house, and he's the father, and his son is playing with these toys, and it's all just been him trying to have fun with these toys that his dad won't let him play with, and that was another one of those deep moments. Here, they have another one of those things where this whole movie is really just a story that Jackie Chan, who also voices one of the characters, is telling to a child that has walked into this shop that Jackie Chan owns, and they have just one clip of it at the beginning and then one clip of it at the end, and I thought that it was just completely unnecessary. They didn't explain anything. It made no sense why this kid would just wander into this shop. That it wasn't like it had cool toys in it. It was a weird, one of those weird dusty antique shops. I don't know why anyone would just walk in there. I mean, maybe he liked antiques. I don't know. They didn't explain anything. And then all of a sudden, Jackie Chan had Legos, and it didn't add anything, and it just made it no sense. I pretty much ignored that happened at all, and that was just another thing that wasn't necessary in just a really average movie, which I'm really sad about because, as I said, I like the first two. I like the Lego video games. I like Legos, but this didn't really do it for me. So I'm gonna have to give this one a below solid rating. All right, guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.